Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name's Anna-Briella and today we're going over the new patch that's just hit the Age of War beta. Let's get to it. There are some currently known issues to the team. Single player and co-op sessions sometimes fail to start up properly on the Microsoft Store build. Oiled weapons and prying kits are interacting weirdly, as are the repairing grindstone and unnamed city oils. I had noticed that the timer on the Oil of Bounty seemed to flicker and not sort of count down properly. I'm assuming that's what they're referring to. Multi-key, e.g. Control and K, don't trigger correctly, as if one of the keys is assigned to another action, so just some basic fixes required. Abyssal armor is showing an empty durability bar when equipping it. Okay, let's get on to what they've changed. They've addressed a couple of crashes and reduced log entries, and they've fixed a number of known exploits without identifying which ones they are. Crystalline Visage armor now has the correct icons. Fragments of power have been removed from most crafting recipes. Wells now require 50 tar down from 300 and 100 steel reinforcements down from 300 for tier 2. Light from Radium Gem Golem heads has been tweaked, and you can see they no longer give ambient lighting but a directional lighting, a bit like a car beam. Okay, balance updates. They seem to have changed the language to reflect that repair kits will lower the maximum durability of items by 2.5% to 20% of the original max durability. The wording before was a bit misleading in that it was 20%, depending on the tier of the repair kit. But do bear in mind that this only applies, whilst it says here all repair kits now work on all tiers of weapons and armour. This does not refer to legendaries or unique items, as they are no longer repairable at all. Using a repairing grindstone will repair all items in your hotkey bar and will also reduce the maximum durability on all of them. I think this is just a clarification of what they'd written in previous patch. Official servers had some adjustments to stamina regeneration to make it less punishing. This has now been patched into the game so that single player players on the beta won't have to enter these values manually, as I was doing. Quality of life improvements. Gold and silver bars now have greater stack sizes. They now stack to 1,000 instead of 100. Truncheons now deal 0 normal damage to prevent accidental deaths. I have tested this and it works and it's wonderful. Yellow Lotus potion now stacks and does not have an expiry timer. They stack to 10. General bug fixes. There was an issue on the Age of War beta official servers where ownership was lost after sessions restarted. So if you were logging in and you noticed that you could loot anybody's chests, that should now be fixed. Mod logging now works correctly again. Field of view no longer pops back and forth when running out of stamina while sprinting. I hadn't noticed this, but apparently this was an issue. Addressed a number of issues with the controller rebinding feature. Finally, console players will be able to remap their keys on their controller. They've addressed some issues with this. It won't be possible to check this until it comes out on console. I had a look in game and I couldn't really see any issues. Heart Piercer can now be moved to inventory. Apparently that was a problem. Weapons no longer lose 50% durability when being used after applying a weapons fitting kit. So I had this issue when I applied a master weapon fitting to a legendary weapon or to any weapon, and as soon as I hit an enemy, there was a red bar on the durability, in spite of it saying that durability wouldn't be affected by fitting kits. The last step of the Master Armor journey now finishes properly. I tested this, I was able to complete the journey. Wolf cubs no longer have too many hit points. I checked the hit points for cubs, and there seems to be a difference between about 12 to 15 for most babies in the game. The upgrade and alter to the final level step in High Priest Journey will no longer give credit for crafting a Retreat of Jabal Sag, and instead does correctly require the Tier 3 Grove of Jabal Sag to be built. Game menus have been updated and look pretty damn good. Clan coffers. Moving a valuable placeable back to coffer radius now counts to the treasure value. Picking up treasure can no longer be done while mounted. I hadn't managed to do this before, but I tried it and it's definitely not possible now. Rolling while picking up treasure no longer increases your carry speed. It is possible to roll and then click E, which does have an interesting animation interaction, but you don't continue to roll while you pick up treasure. Climbing and swimming is no longer possible while carrying treasure. I wasn't allowed to do either of these before. If you press spacebar or if you press Alt, roll or jump, either of those things, you will drop treasure. If you fall into water, treasure will now fall to the very bottom of the water and land on the earth below. You won't be able to click on it, you won't be able to interact with it. If you're playing single player, you will need to relog in order for it to respawn at its original spawn location, and that item that was underwater will be gone. The Gilded Jade Warhorn is now recognised as a valuable. Multiple treasures will no longer spawn in the same spot. Placeable treasure can no longer be transformed into coin piles. Coffers no longer have a preview loot option, so when you hover over a chest and you get the option to loot all, that's no longer an option. Treasure dropped while being in the air now lands on the ground instead of levitating. Like I said, if you drop into the water at Buccaneer Bay, you want to jump off the boat into the water and maybe see if you can swim away with the treasure. The treasure will land on the seabed at the bottom of the water. Treasure now correctly spawns at startup of a single player game or co-op game. This is very handy when you've lost treasure in the water. Emblem updates now properly show for other players. I hadn't noticed this, but I've just been testing in single player. Using escape to close the emblem window will now revert the emblem image to the last saved version. The team have corrected descriptions for several floor and wall paints, and they've added missing translations to some items and buttons. Here we are over at Buccaneer Bay, and we found ourselves a Decetto cat idol, which we can pick up. You see they've added some new animation for collecting the treasure, which is kind of cool. You can see that if we drop down from one level to the next, we don't drop the treasure. I'm in guard and cloak, so otherwise these people would be trying to attack me. And now, if I drop into this water, the idol will fall to the seabed and stay there. There's no way for me to interact with it. So I've relogged in single player, and if I fall into the water now, you can see that the cat has gone. Earlier today I was able to log out and log back in again, and the cat idol returned to this location, but it doesn't seem to be doing it now. I have relogged twice, so you might have to wait. On official servers, I assume you'll have to wait for the server to restart. Something not mentioned in the patch notes is they have now changed the colour of unique items in the game that you can loot from NPCs to this yellow colour instead of blue. So we now have legendary, unique, epic, and basic items. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see next.